Yeah, and if you're doing your creative testing against a broad audience and the only ads you're using are the ones that work at broad, and then your main audience, your entire campaign is built around targeting a broad audience, you have from the very first day instituted a system that works for everybody. And if it works for everybody and it's stable and you can spend all of your money in one place, then you're going to be able to really focus on week over week, month over month improvements on efficiency or scale. Everything else is basically just, it is smart and it's busy work and it's obviously has value, but I see people working 4 or 5 hours a day banging their head against the wall to maintain efficiency. And my thing is, like, I can answer almost every business question that I'm needing to in less than 90 minutes a day. Like, if I have to spend more than 90 minutes a day on any Facebook account, it's because I'm diving into big thinking or I'm trying to come up with the next test, but I'm not actually in the platform for nearly that amount of time, because I'm just saying, ultimately what it comes down to is how's my creative testing doing? Do I have something that's better than my control ads? Yes or no? If yes, I drop it in, I get rid of my worst control ad. And then what is my business objective this week? Am I trying to be more efficient or am I trying to spend more money? Then it's a really simple thing. If I'm trying to be more efficient, great. What's my budget allocation between top of funnel and bottom of funnel? And that's one of the big things I see people make a mistake all the time is they're never spending enough money at the bottom of the funnel. They're like, well, my retargeting is doing well. And I'm like, great. Are you spending in full? Are you at a point now where you cannot spend any more money in retargeting and it's doing worse than prospecting? No, then you're not spending enough in retargeting. Everybody wants new customers, but the number one fallacy is people say, if they click and they don't buy, they don't like you. It doesn't mean that at all. The likelihood of me coming to your house for a first date with the condom on, ready to go, and us doing it right when I knock on the door is zero, right? And what you're saying is, if you don't do that, then you're going into retargeting, and I got to put you through this whole journey where it's $2 or $3 per click, and I might spend $10, $15 to get a no. That's really inefficient. I'll just let everybody continue to make decisions and treat everybody equally, and just say, look, these conversions are going to work. These sales pitches are going to work at scale. That's the only thing I'm concerned about in the business, unless you're a really niche product. And if you're a really micro budget product where you can't spend enough to drive 7 to 8 conversions a day per campaign and 50 conversions per week to get out of the learning phase, and that's a whole other strategy to go down. I mean, I think if I had to say the top 3 things that I'm most excited about, one is absolutely e-commerce integration, because I think the more amount of efficiencies you can gain there, the easier it'll be. Because, I mean, I remember back in the day, like I did a case study I was on the show called The Pitch. They used to air after Mad Men, where it was like ad agencies competing to be the AOR for a company. And we did something for 1-800-Flowers. And it was the whole groundbreaking theory was they were going to run a campaign on Facebook. You couldn't do anything else. And so we ended up doing a social gifting campaign. And then it was like the first time anybody had really been doing something like that. And what resulted was an ability to send somebody a gift card of like a coupon to 1-800-Flowers or Starbucks or something like that directly inside the platform. And it went away after about 6 months. And this was maybe 6 years ago. What I think will be awesome is a buy now button directly in the feed. If you get a one-click buy in the feed that connects you to a Facebook pay, then you're eliminating all the barriers to entry. Because I think the number one most important thing is when somebody clicks on your ad, every second that it takes them or every click that it takes them to actually get to the purchase, the less likely they are to buy from you. There are, again, some exceptions. I've seen people do these artificial, like, value building things that totally work for them. These aren't golden rule, but if I have to click on your site and then find the buy button and then click there and then make some options and then if it takes me like 5 minutes, I'm already done. I don't care. Mm-hmm. Like I'm interested. This is cool. I'm gonna go on Amazon and buy it from your competitor. You just spent money so that I can make your competitor rich. So I think the most exciting thing is that integration with Shopify and WooCommerce and BigCommerce, where they're gonna be able to pull in that integration. Also, I'm really excited about it because I have a lot of stock in Shopify. Right. Really good buy, by the way, in case you're an investment nerd like me. I got my Bitcoin, I got my Litecoin, I got my Shopify. Always going to Facebook for Q3 and Q4 because when everybody dumps their money in to make sales for the holiday times, you just bank and then sell by January. But that's neither here nor there. I think the other 2 things that I'm really excited about is also the data integration. Because the thing that makes Facebook really smart is the machine learning. So anything that can improve that machine learning ecosystem. And then also the placement options. Like, anywhere else that they can show ads. I'm a big believer in auto placement, auto bidding, auto targeting, like manual. I guess it's now lowest cost bidding. I think it's still auto placement, but like, all of those things, and allowing Facebook to control those impressions on any platform, for letting Facebook's ecosystem to do, basically cerebral hacking to understand what's going to make somebody convert and whatnot. I'm always down to let them do it, because I know ultimately they're going to try to continue to have me spend money. And if I'm using automated rules and creative testing to let them know my business objectives are, they're not going to spend where it doesn't work for me. But if I can get incremental reach, I'm all about it.
Nice.
I think ultimately the adoption of the technology is still on the upswing. I mean, there are still people that aren't doing it. It's still not a best practice for every single person. And I think ultimately, the more people that there are with money, the more people there are with money. Let me put it to you in absolute terms. The more teenage girls there are in the world, the more money people will have to spend on them. That's the number one market to sell anything in the world, is girls 14 to 20. More people spend money on girls 14 to 20 than any other demographic on the face of the planet across every single culture. That's the number one driver of e-commerce dollars, period. The more of them that there are, the more money is going to be spent on getting stuff for people. And if you can provide a better conduit for that happening, then you're going to make more money. And I think ultimately, in-store shopping as a requirement for society, especially after this quarantine, is being proven to be an out of touch mentality. And I think that Amazon was first to it. He was, however you want to say it, Bezos is basically the guy that was like, I think when people are drunk at their house, they're going to want something sent to their place for free, and I'll give it to them. He was that big idea, and he's going to make $1 trillion on it with a T. It's going to happen. That is a fundamental shift that is the same thing as like Sears and Roebuck was 100 years ago. You know? I mean, I think what it does more than anything is it lowers the barrier to entry to somebody with a good idea. And you can use, I mean, as a music business guy, I can use a music business analogy. Napster destroyed the music industry because it exposed the level of corruption and overcharging and unnecessary infrastructure, right? Like it used to be in the 90s, if you got a song on MTV, MTV was the tastemaker for everybody, and you got millions and millions of people saw it. And basically, if you want to get a number one album, the number one way to do it was to get your song on the radio and to get it on MTV. And if you could do that, then you were fundamentally going to succeed. Napster came in, destroyed that entire model, and then made it so that anybody with a recording studio could make a record. And you saw all of these people just pop up that were like good people. And the democratization of that, whether you want to say it one way or the other, Justin Bieber is a great example of how a talent on YouTube can undermine billions of dollars being spent by the recording industry. Say what you will about Justin Bieber, but he was a 13-year-old kid on YouTube. He was an 8-year-old kid on YouTube.
From Portsmouth, Ontario.
Yeah, like that's what he did, right? And his success was also matched at a global level. It was scaled by Simon Cowell, which was basically doing the exact same thing, but making it a game show in every country in the world. And, you know, now he's got tight t-shirts and nice cars everywhere. But I think the democratization of that, basically allowing anybody with a good idea to succeed, is a phenomenal way that undermines the value of people. And now the problem is, I think ultimately the people seeing is the gateholders of that democratization are in this really awful place. We're seeing basically the same thing as like steel barons or oil barons, right? Like the same thing. You could call Amazon the same thing, or Facebook as like U.S. Steel, or you know what I'm saying, like or any Middle Eastern country built on oil. Like you now have centralized the power to the people that provide that. And I think that's one of the things that's really exciting, but it also becomes really dangerous. And I think that ultimately what will happen is some sort of control being put on that locally in different markets, whatever. But I think right now, the people that are utilizing it are able to make the most of it. And obviously barriers will come in. I remember when Facebook was $2 CPMs, now it's 20, right? Like you could print money on Facebook. You could 10x every dollar that you spent. Now if you're getting 2, that's great. But I think that ultimately comes down to democratizing that. And what will ultimately win is the things that occur off platform that we talked about before, is the customer service and the brand identity. And you might be somebody that's really good at drop shipping stuff from AliExpress. And, you know, we all know those individuals that are making a lot of money doing it. But if you want to win long-term, it's building customer service. Like, do you call your customers? What is your return policy? Like, all of these good business ethics. And good business will always win outright over bad business, not in good ideas, but well executed business plans. And I think that what we're seeing is, you know, 20 years ago, for you to start a business where you would be shipping products directly to people's homes anywhere in the world was an idea that was an inconceivable business plan unless you had billions. Now, I've got some students inside of my Facebook group that, like, they're 16-year-old German kids that are paying for college.
Yeah.
So, like, that's it, you know?
That's it. I think that's where we'll leave it today, Charlie.
Okay, sounds good. Power to the children. Let's save the children.
We got to save those kids. No, but I'm interested for what we've all just gone through, what we're all through here for the past 3 months will change the world. And you hit the nail on the head with a lot of the sort of like false structures will fall, whether it's in education, whether it's maybe government, whether it's in, police we're seeing or wherever.
Yeah.
We're in for some big changes. And I feel like where we're at, in advertising, it being as accessible, I think it's a really interesting comparison to talk about steel barons versus steel barons never made it. Maybe they did make it easier, democratize, if they made steel available to everyone, I guess maybe they did facilitate.
So they built railroads. Yeah. They built cities, skyscrapers, railroads. They made population expansion a viable thing.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? So oil barons, they allowed the Industrial Revolution to occur, right? At scale. And cars, right? Ford, yeah, he made a car, but what did he really do? Ford made a product that allowed the average customer, the average individual, to define a lifestyle that went outside of what they could walk. Which right? Or like what your horse could do. So that's a fundamental shift in society at large. And so we're just doing the exact same thing. And for what it's worth, and I've had to come up with this to have peace of mind when I worked at companies or for products that I didn't necessarily totally believe in. Ultimately, if you're a really good Facebook advertiser or any digital e-com advertiser, what you're doing is you are figuring out a way to provide value to somebody and do the work for them. Where I do the best on Facebook, for instance, is when I'm finding somebody in need of a specific solution, and I'm finding the most efficient way of providing somebody in need of a solution with the solution to their problem. If you have a problem, my job is to find you and solve it with something that makes your life better. I'm selling aspiration 99% of the time. So you want your life to be better. If I can find you to make your life better and provide it for you, maybe buy 2 get 1 free plus free shipping, whatever else, and then mazel tov to me. But like, that's my ultimate job, is to use this platform to provide a higher quality, to provide aspiration to individuals that might not otherwise get it. Because the honest truth is there's plenty of things that you might want to get, but if there's not a store within walking distance, or now that we have cars, thanks to Ford, driving distance to you, and they haven't advertised to you that it exists, and you can actually buy it and price check it and understand that you're getting the thing exactly that you want, you're not going to have it. And so it makes a certain quality of life attainable to anyone. And if I try to think about it like that, then I can sleep at night, because sometimes I've gotten really hectic about certain things. I've sold everything under the sun, like dozens and dozens of brands. Spent, like I said, I used to spend $1 million for half a dozen brands. I've done everything.
That goes out the door at that scale.
Yeah. You have a moral quandary with the things occasionally, absolutely. But I just try to look at it more along the lines of, if I can, my job is to most efficiently provide that opportunity for somebody and do it in a way that creates enough profit margin for me to be able to do it for other people, to allow you achieving your aspiration to pay for my time so that I can achieve mine and then reach to other people. Right? Like that's ultimately the goal.
I love it. Leave it. If your group find out more, we already found out about your band. If do you take poems to your group, anything you want to plug?
Sure. Let me find the thing here real quick. And by the way, for my group, I do lives every Saturday at 10 a.m. I have a free group. I do ebooks. And here's the group, by the way. But
Facebook ads, bots, sexy tips, e-com, Shopify. You got a lot of keywords.
Yeah, there's some SEO. There's some SEO. But I started this a little over a year ago, and I'm at 12,000 people. I personally approve every single person. I personally approve every single post. I personally respond to every single question. And every week I do an hour-long class that's free. And in those classes, we address everybody's questions from the week. And I give a lesson and some homework. And there is an ebook. There is a Patreon if you want to help. And it absolutely does. But it's not a front end to some like course or whatever. Because if you can't afford that, you can do any of the homework for any of the weeks. And you can get any of the content you want for free.
Amazing.
So,
fantastic.
Because the thing for me, more than anything, is that exchange with everybody. That 16-year-old kid in Germany might have an idea where I don't have a good reason why his dumb idea is a bad one. And I have brought fundamental ground-changing, like landscape-changing concepts to advertisers that I've worked for because somebody had a dumb question I didn't have a good answer for. So I get so much out of it that I'm more than willing to give it all away just so that more people can provide me value. And also, if I'm answering questions for 12,000 people, nobody that I'm going to get on the phone with is going to have something new, which means I'm kicking ass all over the place.
Well, hot damn, Charlie. I'm glad to be kicking ass alongside you. I want to thank all killer, no filler. I think this will be the first of a hopefully regular installment where we.
I try to get my no killer, all killer, no filler hat going here.
Nice. Yeah.
Killing it.
That's enough. All right, Charlie. Thanks again. Stay safe, play, and have a great weekend.
Thank you very much, my man. I appreciate it. See ya.